Today we want to talk about how to know a marriage material, how to know someone that is the right person for you to marry, how to identify somebody that is worth becoming a husband or worth becoming a wife. As you agree with me, not everybody is a husband and not everybody is a wife. So how do you differentiate who is a marriage material and who is not? That's what we want to talk about. I know those of you that are already married, you will feel left out today in the program. Don't feel so. You that is already settled, married already, don't forget you are having children coming up and all that. So whatever you learn now from what we will discuss this evening, you can always impact in the life of your children. And so don't say, oh, I'm already married, today's topic is not for me. And so you can have a sister or a brother that is not yet married, that is not listening now. You can, borrow them from the knowledge of what you will acquire this evening. How to know a marriage material, or how to identify someone that you think, yes, this person is ready to get married, true and true. All right, let's begin it this way. Several times, listeners have asked me on and off the air how to identify the right person to marry. This question has always appeared tough for me to outrightly give a direct answer to. But nonetheless, I try to provide some guideline for anyone desiring to find the right partner. And today, what we want to do is to kind of elaborate on it and expatiate on it. This topic, I have treated it about 2 years ago, or about a year and 6 months ago. By then, this program hadn't gotten as popular as it is today, and it will be of a great benefit for those that have always asked, how do you know the right person to marry? How do you know this person is good to be your husband or this person is good to be your wife? And so you pay proper attention as we go. As far as the guidelines are concerned, though, they are also not certain because some people are grossly unpredictable. Nevertheless, if you watch out for some of these traits, some of these characteristics, and some of these qualities we are going to mention now, you will likely reduce drastically the level of risk you take in getting into that marriage that you are planning, bearing in mind the popular saying that no venture, no success. This dating advice is for men and also for women, and is to describe which qualities you need to have on your satellite radar. What do I mean? When you are getting ready to look for someone to marry, you begin to pay attention to certain things. I liken that as putting out your satellite, putting it on a radar in the sense that it will begin to move around, trying to pick its target. So when you are searching for a partner with whom you can have long-term marriage relationship. So, but most women and young girls of nowadays, they waste their time dating a man who will never commit to marriage. For example, a lady recounted recently how she had dated a guy for 9 years who never asked her to marry him. According to her, the guy was nice, fun, educated, cute, but he just wasn't a marriage material. Because each time the lady brings up the issue of when are you going to marry, aren't you thinking about getting married, things like that, the guy always find a way to push the topic aside, saying things like, I'm not prepared for that topic now. Let's not begin to talk about marriage. Or or when the time comes, we will discuss it properly. A couple of years after they broke up, this lady met a guy who was a marriage material. And according to her, they only dated for 3 months, and then the guy proposed to her. That is the difference between someone who is having his eyes fixed on marriage, who is looking out for a marriage partner, and the one who is just after having the fun of, okay, this is my girlfriend, or I'm dating this woman, and things like that. That is the difference. Now, these people dated for only 3 months, and then the guy proposed to her. There are signs that can help a woman determine if the man they are dating is a marriage material or not. The same thing applies to the man. There are things you also need to look out for and see or don't see to be able to conclude in your heart that, yes, I think this one qualifies for a wife, or this one does not qualify for a wife. Let's proceed this way. Let me ask you, for those of you that are listening and still trusting God and hoping that, the relationship they have now will translate to marriage, or the one that they are yet to get hooked into will translate to marriage. Let me ask you, do you know what kind of person that would make you happy? Do you know what qualities you would want in someone that you want to marry? The kind of quality you want the person to possess? Unfortunately, most people don't set a target for the kind of person they want to have for a wife or have for a husband. And as such, a beautiful woman or a handsome man who agrees to fall in love with such a person could automatically be interpreted to have qualified for a wife or a husband material. It is not supposed to be so. That you're beautiful, or that you're handsome, or you are eloquent, or that you are well built, or you possess a lot of money and all that, or you're from a very wealthy family background and all that, does not make you a good husband or wife material. And so our inability to properly set a target, have the kind of qualities we want from a man or from a woman to possess before we can, yes, conclusively say this one, yes, is qualified to be a wife or to be a husband. Our lack of enough knowledge in that area is one of the major causes of marital problems we have in our homes today. Because people marry for the wrong reasons. People marry the wrong people. People marry someone that was never meant to be their life partner. People marry out of sentiment. People marry because they are blinded to the fact that the things that make a person the person that the person is actually built in the inside of that person. Not things we see with our physical eyes, like beauty, like height, like material possessions. These are not the things that make up the qualities a good wife or a good husband should possess. They are more of internal qualities than the external. For those of you that are at the verge of making up your mind, I want you to pay serious attention to the guidelines I want to point out tonight. And also, to you that you are yet to even find the right person, pay even more serious attention. Because these guidelines will serve as your takeoff materials and will help you to either successfully jet into the relationship or to successfully crash land in that relationship or in that marriage. So, let's go. 1, I want to say that someone who will qualify as a wife or as a husband material ought to be someone who offers you genuine friendship. You will agree with me that everybody wants someone who can be their best friend through thick and thin. What do I mean? Somebody that you can lean your head on to cry at. Somebody who will be always there to put his shoulder out for you to lean on. We want someone with whom we can share our deepest thoughts, as well as with whom we can have fun with. And these qualities you can only find in your best and genuine friend. So, if you are looking for a marriage partner, you must first of all be convinced deep down in your mind that you have found a genuine friend in that person. Because it's a lifetime journey, but then that journey has to begin from somewhere. And how you begin that journey will go a long way to determine how successful the journey is going to end or how terrible the ending of that journey is going to be. Because marriage is a lifetime kind of journey. It's a lifetime kind of commitment and contract, which if genuinely you are in it for the reason you got into it in the first place. It's like getting into a building that only has an entrance without an exit facility. That is how marriage supposed to be like. And so, for you to be able to convince yourself, make up your mind to get into that journey where you only enter and not exit, it means that you must have someone that you will feel at peace with for that period that you will remain in that bondage of marriage. A material for a wife, for a husband must be someone that should be ready to offer you genuine friendship at all times. That's one thing you have to notice in someone you want to say, yes, I think I am convinced this person will make a good wife for me or will make a good husband for me. Number 2 is that the person you want to get convinced about that could make a good husband or a good wife must be someone who will be ready to introduce you to his or to her family members. A man or a woman who is a marriage material will want his or her family to meet you and you to become acquainted with them earlier on in the relationship. Preparing both of you for the upcoming proposal or marriage has to start with both of you getting close to your both families. But the one that always gives excuses for not meeting your family has some ulterior motive for not doing so. And you don't need someone to tell you to take flight from such a person, because he or she is after something. And the moment the person grabs what he or she is after, that is the end of the relationship. There are several things people get attracted to another person for, all in the disguise of falling in love. It could be sex, it could be money, it could be material possessions, it could be as a means to an end, for several reasons. And the moment the person achieves that purpose, the relationship is assumed to have ended completely. So, for someone that you have to get yourself convinced that, this person, for him or for her to have gone to the extent of introducing me to his or her family and letting them get acquainted with me, he or she must be seriously interested in this long-lasting relationship as I have in my mind. One other thing that is also very, 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 very important is that person you have seen that you're thinking could be your wife or could be your husband must be kind and compassionate. The question you must ask yourself before you dive into it is, what kind of heart does he or she have? What kind of heart does he or she have? Is he the kind of person that when he gets offended or when she gets offended, she wants the world to just come down and swallow you? Does that person feel for the next person? Or is he or she careless about whatever happens to the next person? And most importantly, how forgiving is he or her as a person? Is he the kind of person that when you offend him or you offend her, she groans over it and the next minute you get along again and he puts or she puts behind what had transpired? Or is he or is she the kind of person that whatever little thing you do, he puts it in the pocket and zips it up? At the slightest provocation, it is unzipped and brought into the picture once again. Is that person the kind of person you can actually share when you have a bad day with? If you can't get yourself convinced that that is the kind of person, then that might not be a marriage material for you. Because some terrible moments will show up in the course of the marriage. And you require someone to show you care and show you compassion. Not someone who will be ready to throw you away from the house at the slightest provocation.